deep dive where emotions meet the stars and spirituality takes center stage. Join Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Schott as they explore astrology, mental health, manifesting, and so much more. Two women on a spiritual path, sharing wisdom, stories, and the magic of sisterhood. Ready to dive deep? Let's begin.
Welcome to Deep Dive. I'm Sherianna.
And I'm Carmen Schott. And this is a show about astrology, emotions, and spirituality.
Each week, we're taking a deep dive into what is happening astrologically and how it impacts our emotions, relationships, health, and more. And we'll be offering you some tips and tools for how to navigate this energy. This episode is about June 1st, Sunday.
Yes, the week of June 1st, guys. June 1st through 7, you'll be feeling a lot of different energies going on. So the biggest thing is literally over the weekend, we had Saturn is now moved into the sign Aries, which is a very big deal because Saturn has been in Pisces for a long, long time. And so when a planet changes into a new sign, especially the outer planets like Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, that's a big energy change that affects the entire world. It can affect history. So when you look back at when planets change signs in the past, you can see history replaying itself. And so with Saturn into Aries, Aries is the sign of war, the sign of battle, the sign of, the warrior energy. So there's going to be a lot more going on the news and in the world with other countries, with Israel and all of this. We're already kind of seeing that going on. We've had some things happen in the news that had to do with some violence and things like that, uprising. That's Aries energy. So there's going to be, it's a big, big change, and we'll see it play out in the world. And some astrologers try to, pick up on what could happen because, what happened last time Saturn was in Aries. You look at that. And so that's a big thing just to be aware of, guys, is Saturn is in Aries now. That's a very big thing you can research. And then we're still in Gemini season. The first of the month here, June 1st, it's Gemini energy. We're feeling like active and wanting to get going, get moving, travel, learn something new, maybe even take a class, communicate. We're wanting to, socialize and network, maybe see an old friend, someone you haven't seen in a while. I had that happen. I'm supposed to go to dinner Friday night. An old person I used to work with for a long time. They contact me out of the blue. We're going to meet in St. Louis for dinner, and they're going to bring their husbands.
Very nice.
Italian food.
So people meeting up, catching up.
Yeah, that's Gemini. It's absolutely plays out. It's like little things. When you know the energy, you're like, oh, this is Gemini energy. I'm wanting to talk more. I'm on the phone for hours with someone. It's all about
social. Sounds very social.
It is social energy. It's a good energy. It's light. Geminis are fun. They're witty. They're sarcastic. It's like a good, friendly energy. Mm. And then on June 6th, we have the planet of love and relationships, Venus. It moves into the sign Taurus. And so Venus has been in Aries, which we talked about, the past month or so. And so it's made relationships a little bit more conflict has been going on in relationships because people have been a little bit more blunt, assertive, and maybe a little irritated. Anger issues could have came up or frustration in relationships. And now Venus moves into its ruling sign, which is Taurus. So it's all about peace and harmony, finding comfort, healing, finding stability, grounding ourselves, enjoying the fine things in life, enjoying the things we love, feeling safe, feeling comfortable, feeling cozy, also being artistic and creative, things that bring you peace and harmony. That's what relationships are going to be feeling like starting June 6th. So this is a good change, guys, in that energy.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And so for me, grounding is always about getting in touch with my spirituality. I don't know if that's how you get your grounding, Carmen. I love to go out in nature. I just got back from Sedona, as you know. And so of course there was a lot of grounding there. I actually hiked up a mountain barefoot. Yes, I got lots of looks.
You know, I
Or
was going
like,
to
you
ask
sure?
if you went barefoot because when I went to Sedona, everybody was barefoot on the sand, on the red sand, because the healing red rocks, you know.
Yes, yes, I was barefoot.
Nice,
Absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. And so for me, that's a big part of my grounding. And I didn't know that for a long time, just how grounding being in connection with spirit is, being in connection with higher vibration. When I hear you say this peace and harmony, and then that Taurus energy grounding. So thinking about that, folks, how, what brings you grounding?
Absolutely, because Venus and Taurus is going to make us want to connect and feel more, we want to be peaceful. Like we're going to want peace and harmony right now because we just came out a lot of Aries energy, guys.
Yeah.
And so now this is going to be a very positive energy affecting our relationships and how we express ourselves, because that's Venus, how we show love, how we show love and affection as well. And so it's a good place to be when a planet's in their own sign that it rules. It's very easy. I call it flows. It just flows easily because it's natural. It's just natural.
Interesting. I did find when I was in Sedona, I wanted no part of social media and emails. I was actually surprised at myself at how much I just had it's kind of like a taste aversion, where you're just like, gives you a bad taste in your mouth. I couldn't do it, Carmen. And other times that I've traveled, I've checked in a little bit here and there. And
it's so beautiful there. It's such a powerful energy place in Sedona, guys. If you've never been, I recommend going. I mean, it's beautiful.
But in terms of grounding, I guess what I'm getting at, Carmen, is do you feel that when the planets are, like you said, Venus is in Taurus's ruler now, and we want peace and harmony, do you feel like we're naturally that would do a similar effect like what happened to me in Sedona, where when things are in flow or energy's flowing, you're actually not interested in that stuff anymore?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the things it can shift your like your feelings. Sometimes you get burned out. And I know I get like that sometimes. I don't even want to get on Facebook sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on the phone. I don't want to be on a screen. It's like getting that detox from all of the outside stuff. And I think that's what happens, why it's good for people to get out in nature, especially, Venus and Taurus, because Taurus rules the earth. Taurus is an earth sign. They rule gardening, flowers, scents, the senses, touch, taste, sight,
the
smell.
senses.
And that's the Taurus thing. So we all are going to be, I think, a little bit more in tune, wanting to be more in tune to the earth. Maybe plant tomato plants. My husband's talking about he needs to get some more tomato plants to plant. So he's getting outdoors more.
Yes.
So that Taurus energy and Cancer too. We got June 8th. We got Mercury goes into Cancer. Cancer rules the home and family. Also, security, comfort is Cancer energy. So there's a lot of this energy shifting to being peaceful, having comfort, surrounding ourselves, in our home where we feel safe out at, and have peace. So I think the busyness that we've been having of Gemini, it's all going to shift, with
some people are still going to be in that busyness. I'm just looking at the calendar and I'm thinking about graduations and picnics and the tip that I can offer people there is make sure you ask for help. Don't get so overscheduled or overloaded. I know many people that host parties or barbecues, and they have a really hard time with that, Carmen. A lot of people that will delegating tasks. And often what I'll say to them is, think about ahead of time what you can delegate, because it's hard to do it in the moment when you're overwhelmed. You're like, no, I'm fine. I'll do it. You know what I mean? That's the overwhelmed. No, I'll just do it. Yeah. But if you think about ahead of time, what can I delegate to other people? If you are having an outdoor event, like for example, if somebody says, how can I help? Then maybe you say, well, you could wash a dish or two. We don't like to do that because we think we're entertaining. They're supposed to do nothing. We're supposed to do everything. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, multitasking, that's kind of Gemini energy, is like just doing it all and trying to juggle everything. And then they get, then something drops. You can't juggle 8 balls at once. Then, oh, shoot, I forgot about something. That's what happens at Geminis, because they take on a lot. Sometimes I think people take on too much. And then I think we're all guilty of, we don't want to ask for help. We want to act like we got it together. We're strong. We don't want to burden others by asking. So, and sometimes we don't feel comfortable with people asking if they can help us because it doesn't happen a lot.
Yes.
Because I know for me, I'm used to doing everything on my own. And then when someone says, "How can I help you?" I'm like, that feels. I'm like, are you really want to help me?
Could you repeat that?
Because I'm usually barking orders out at my husband. Can you take the dog out? I'm cooking. Can you do this and feed the dog while I'm, and then he's like, he doesn't want to. So, but it's nice when someone does. And I think that's important because, we have to, find peace and harmony. And that's the thing. If you're doing too much and you feel like no one's helping you, you're going to get burned out or overwhelmed. And then you're going to,
you're going to miss this peace and harmony energy. That's what I'm feeling. That it sounds to me like this is going to be a natural thing that's going to happen. And don't stay so stuck in your ways that you miss what this, I don't want to call it, it's not really an event, but this change of energy that's happening. And I think we all have to learn how to do that, or how to lower our expectations of what we're creating. We do need to take a quick break. If you're just joining us on KMET Radio, you're listening to Deep Dive. We give you your weekly astrological update and tips and tools for how to handle the energy. If you miss a show on the radio, not a big deal. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna. You just got to subscribe there and you'll get your weekly update. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Astrology is energy. Unlock the wisdom of your birth chart with my new book, Your Astrological Energy. Pre-order your copy today and receive 10% off a personal consultation with me. Visit CarmenTurnerSchott.com to claim your special offer today.
When was the last time you took time for you? Hi, I'm Sherianna Boyle, author of the Emotional Detox book series and several other books. I also lead a variety of wellness retreats throughout the year. Visit SheriannaBoyle.com/events to find out more and to book your retreat today. Again, it's SheriannaBoyle.com/events. Welcome back to Deep Dive. It is your astrological update for Sunday, June 1st for the entire week. You were mentioning, Carmen, something during the break.
Yes. The focus this week will be, you'll feel a definite shift in your relationships and how you express and show love, because we've been with this Venus and Aries. It was a lot of impatient energy because Aries wants things quick, fast, now, a little bit more focused on their self. And they want to be blunt and direct, and they like to rush. So there might have been more conflict going on in relationships that you noticed. And then now there's going to be a shift, which is the positive thing here, guys, that the shift is going to go from impatience to patient Taurus energy, because Venus is moving into Taurus, which Tauruses are known to be the opposite of Aries. Okay. Very opposite, because Aries is fire. Taurus energy is earth, and Tauruses don't like to be rushed. They will put their bullhorns down and be very stubborn and strong-willed as a bull. That's their symbol. And Aries is all about rushing everybody. We got to go. We got to go. And Taurus is like, don't you dare rush me. And there's funny memes out there. When someone tries to rush me, this is my Taurus, and they show them walking real slow, like they go slower, because they don't want to be rushed. And so you'll feel more patient with people. And maybe even, more, you'll want to make peace with people, because even if things were kind of bickering and a little bit tense in relationships, you're going to be feeling like, I just want to be cozy, comfortable, I want to have peace and harmony with my loved ones.
It's not worth it. Like choose your battles kind of thing.
Choose your battles.
And perhaps have a little bit of discernment during this time, because patience it forces you to pause when you're patient. It's interesting. I can be a pretty patient person, except for when I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well, Tauruses like to eat. That's their thing. That makes sense. You're a Taurus. You're on the Taurus cusp there. Tauruses like, when they're hungry, they're hungry. I had a coworker who was a Taurus, and she's like, it's time to eat. And I'm like, but it's only 11. She goes, but I'm hungry. I said, yeah, but we usually don't eat until 11:30. I know, but I'm hungry. I'm like, so, Tauruses like a routine. When they listen to their bodies. Tauruses are very connected.
Yes, I do listen to my body.
And
I'll have lunch at 9 a.m. I don't care.
Yeah, if you're hungry, you're hungry. Yeah,
I'm hungry. Yeah,
that's
interesting. Yeah. So we're going to have this, again, I mentioned it before the break. Don't miss this opportunity. Yeah. Don't ever overschedule yourself so much that you miss the opportunity to have this energy that's coming in between Venus and Taurus to resolve things. I think we get stuck in our ways. And I think also what we can do is assume we can expect that people won't change. I find that happens a lot, where we assume they're going to react the same way. They're going to be the same way. We're going to feel the same way about them. And those expectations really don't take into account what you teach us, Carmen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the energy is always affecting us. Astrology is energy, and everything we feel. Like, I mean, every 2 to 3 days, the moon changes signs. About 2 to 2.5 days, the moon changes from fire, air, earth, water, fire, air, earth, water. So that affects us emotionally every 2 to 3 days. So things shift. Things don't always stay the same. If the energy's hard, it's going to shift and more positive energy. So it's kind of like cycles. It's just these cycles of energy and we can only control how we react. Like, we can't control how people treat us or what people say and do, but we can control how we respond.
Yes, we can.
And that
takes awareness, Carmen.
Takes practice.
It takes practice, yeah.
And it's not always easy, and sometimes, depending on where the moon is, if it's in Aries, it may be harder for us to be patient and not to speak out in anger or call somebody out for something. When the moon is in Scorpio, we may hide and be secretive, but they can see it on our face that we're mad, but we're not telling them. I know you're mad at me. No, I'm not. So the moon affects us and affects our relationships and how the moon is so much more important than the sun sign. A lot of people know their sun sign. Yeah. But I always recommend people do your chart so you know where the moon.
And I know you have the book Moon Signs out there. Yeah. And that would be a good place to start getting to know the moon signs. Go ahead and order Carmen's book there. Yeah, I think that space of not reacting, the challenge that I find is that sometimes people are so in it, they've lost their capacity to even identify what they're feeling. They're so in the trigger, let's call it. Absolutely. And now they're so in their head that it is the body language is giving off one thing. And like you said, I'm fine. Nothing's the matter. But people can clearly read, people who can read body language say, I know you, something's not right. And it's not that they don't want to necessarily tell you, but sometimes they're just, they've gone over the tipping point.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to bring themselves back. But it sounds like this energy is going to help people with that.
Yeah, absolutely. This Venus in Taurus is going to help ground us because we've been in this high energy Gemini, go, go, go kind of vibe going. Yeah. Since the end of May, and we're still in that. We're still in Gemini season, which is fine because we have, we got to be social and multitask and do what we got to do. But this Venus in Taurus, I think, is going to help stabilize and ground us a little bit and be able to enjoy the busyness a little bit, step back and enjoy and maybe not be on the go so much.
Mm.
It's okay, if you're busy. I mean, everybody, has events and stuff, but yeah, just make time for peace and harmony. Make time to be a little lazy, a little lazy. Venus and Taurus wants to relax,
To linger, to sit in the sun.
Yeah, yeah, and just
even just something as simple as, what I do these months is I make sure I eat outside, especially if it's nice.
Nice. Yeah,
I'll make my lunch and I'll say, okay, I'm actually taking a real lunch break.
Yes.
Whereas sometimes I'll kind of work through lunch.
Yes.
But during there's times where I'm like, no, sit down, take 10 minutes, go outside, eat your lunch. It does make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And vitamin D, right? Vitamin D.
Yeah, get out in nature, you're going to want to, get outdoors. That's a Gemini season thing. Geminis want to be outside in nature. They need fresh air. People that have Gemini energy, and all of us are going to be feeling that, getting fresh air because they rule the lungs. So their breathing is important, making sure they're not stressing out too much, that they're breathing right. And we all, need to make sure we're breathing and we're getting out and getting air, open the windows of the house. Let the air, it cools off, let it cleanse out the house, things like that.
Yeah. I taught a yoga class this morning and I literally, and this is a new class, new studio that I'm teaching at. And I literally was like, am I the only one breathing? Like, is anybody breathing in here? It's amazing to me how people resist it, breathing.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm not noticing any sign. Usually I can tell when someone's breathing and when they're in their head because they're not breathing or they feel embarrassed or whatnot, don't want to make any noise and you do have to kind of work through that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we have to model it for people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the energy's real, and that's why I love astrology because it's a science and I can see it in my own life. I see how it affects me and other people around me, and I'm like, this is energy. And we just, it'll pass. The hard times pass. We have, good days, bad days, and we always have to try to be positive, but those tips, it's self-care, those little things we do, like eating lunch outside.
Filling yourself up, right? Filling yourself up. And I have always found when you want to manifest something, you can't do it from a depleted state.
Yeah. You can't.
It's really when you take your foot off the gas pedal and you take a pause and you detach. And lately I've been, my Just As Spirit practice, I've been asking Spirit, and then it kind of hit me. I got this message from Spirit that just said, maybe you're not hearing the concrete of exactly what you want to hear because Spirit doesn't want you to attach to outcome. Because sometimes we do ask Spirit and we're like, okay, Spirit, this or this, yes or no, this right or left kind of thing. And the message I received recently was no, because they don't want you to get attached. How about you get attached to neither one and then see what happens?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, when you're resisting, I've been having this thing where I start resisting something. Like, it's like, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because you think you want to do it. And then it's like, it feels like a burden. Like, I'm okay. Why am I resisting this? Like, and I'm like,
it's not ripe yet. It's not ripe.
Yeah.
It's like picking a piece of fruit before it's ripe, before it had the nutrients.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm just realizing that I need to just rest. It's okay. It's okay. Don't feel guilty.
Yes.
Need to rest because I was so used to going, crisis intervention.
Yes.
It's been hard not getting out of that routine.
It's a cycle. It's an autopilot, and it takes time to adjust to that. I wish we had more time. We're kind of going into a whole new thing, but we'll save it for next week, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Deep dive. Remember, you can go to at Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna YouTube, and that's where you can catch the replays if you miss a show. So thanks for taking a deep dive with us.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Carmen Turner Schott, author and psychological astrologer. My newest books are Your Astrological Energy and Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon. Both offer powerful insights to help you understand your emotions and your spiritual journey through astrology. Discover how your birth chart can help you heal, transform, and become more resilient. Visit my website today at carmenturnershott.com and grab your copies on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and online stores.
Looking to transform your life? Sherianna Boyle, author of 11 powerful books, invites you to take a deep dive. Explore her emotional detox series, discover manifesting with energy in action, and connect with spirit in her latest book, Just Ask Spirit. Start your journey today. Find all her books at sheriannaboyle.com. Thank you for tuning into Deep Dive with Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Turner Schott. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review. For more insights and resources, visit carmenturnershott.com and sheriannaboyle.com. Until next time, keep diving deep into your soul's journey.